doesn't fall for what she's waiting for love to be realized. I'll send her my heart covered as a gift and hope that you'll take it into.
Yeah, I have this concern about some ideas in the East here. They call Feng Shui. Feng Shui. It's a Chinese philosophical system of harmonizing everyone with the surrounding environment, and it's closely linked to Taoism. And you can use the principles of Feng Shui in your bedroom to promote rest, relaxation, and in your relationships. It's like it's like harnessing the life force to use it in ways beneficial to you. I find that some of the questions people have about upon joining the new presentation, you know, people always want something that is useful, that has a practical utility in their lives, and many would think that maybe singing the new song is a waste of time or so, because it is not directed towards the achievement of specific goals, and they would like it. They would like people have their preferences, their goals, their things to achieve, and they want to see how what they are doing is impacted upon by the no presentation activities. So, in the light of this, how can this gap be bridged between something that is very useful, and at the same time, which appears to be impractical or almost some would think not beneficial to one's a practical life?
Well, okay, from what you've said and how you've put this long sentence together, Charles, first of all, you talk about gaps. Well, I would say the whole world is a gap, okay? And there's a place that you can buy clothes at. It's called the Gap. That's for sure. And going back to the original idea of Feng Shui, have you heard of Feng Fling? Have you heard of that? Kind of goes along the lines of this drink we're doing, and that is that some people just smell it, take a little sip, they fling it as far as they can. That's Feng Fling. So again, I've heard of this. I'm just kidding. So yes, and I know people that practice this. Again, it's going to work accordingly, and for many people it works, just like the business world. Just like what Trump has done, good, bad, or indifferent, or anybody in the business world or setting up a business. It's a business, right? This is a business world, and it aligns itself accordingly. And it's been used, etc. And, just like anybody's life works accordingly. So these are just labels of what already is. Tesla, what he discovered. It's not. He's a discoverer. He wasn't an inventor. He didn't call himself an inventor. In other words, he didn't create it or invent it. And just, we're picking on the cabbage lady here. And the thing is that she didn't create cabbage or invent it. She just discovered how to do things a certain way. She recognized a process, an application to what already exists, and now she wants to patent it, saying this is mine. Okay, that's fine. You can do whatever you want. So, again, gaps, there's always going to be that, just like alternating current. It alternates. It's not 110 all the time. It goes up and down. It alternates. Tesla, refer to direct current or DC, so as an example. So again, but we use alternating current because it's more dangerous and lethal, and that's the idea, and that's what was agreed upon and purposely decided. So what exists in life, again, that is part of creation. So it's how you look at creation. It's not about how creation already is. It's how you view it and how you decide to, approach it and deal with it. You see, that's what the new presentation is. It's simply, like an application on your phone. It simply is something that you can, learn to deal with what already exists. And that's what your cell phone applications are. See, they just simply apply to what the network's already set up to do. And life already is. Life is already on. So we just created this reference so people have something to relate to. But it's how you, as an individual, it's not everybody, okay? You can't bring everybody in. All you can do is decide how to do it for yourself. Just like you as a teacher, you went to school. It wasn't 15 people in your neighborhood going to school and learning it. It was just you. And then when you reach a certain point, your degree or whatever it is, the officialness of how this world works, the mechanics, you were able to go out and apply that. But at the same time, you're still learning yourself. The biggest part is that, yes, you're teaching others, but realistically, you're learning more by the very fact that you stepped up and that you're teaching. That's how you learn it. So again, taking the risk to do that. So all these things apply, but these are ideas. Right? And everything comes, everything is the is. So as you learn to recognize that, and again, this is where if people keep, which they do, they keep applying things that are in creation to an ultimate position, and the end result is it's not going to work. Yeah, you can live a fine life, but you just still reincarnate unconsciously because you haven't taken the time to recognize the true reality and how to implement that in your life, you see. So yeah, these things work. Everything can work. The business world, you go to school, you get your degree, you become a lawyer. Hey, it all looks good. You're in the courtroom, you win cases, you're making money, life is good. Still going to come back unconscious. It won't matter what lifestyle you've created here. It won't matter what you've learned in cause and effect creation because you're still in creation. See? So until you learn to recognize what creation is for, to see the all is, because everything comes from that. It's so cool. You surpass everything here to where you're not restricted. These are all created restrictions. They look good. But you look at the lifestyle of the best person on earth, the most qualified, rich, whatever, and you think, oh, that person's got it made. No, they don't. They have more restrictions than everybody. It's all agreed upon. Like the Queen of England. Oh, this is mine. Well, she brags about her 12 trillion make-believe, made-up dollars, okay, whatever, or euros. Fine, you can have it. And all the land that she owns and the millions of acres or whatever, fine, you can have it. All she's doing is marketing her restrictions. That's all she's doing. Yeah, she's not providing anything while everybody else is starving, as an example. But she's sitting there bragging about her restrictions. And actually, basically everything she has, she stole. That's very real. Check it out. Did she work a 9-to-5 job? Did she earn all that? No, she stole it. All these wealthy people in the world, they all stole it. And really, what is that? So again, they got a lot to deal with. Yeah. Anyhow, yes, thanks for asking the question. So you get all these viewpoints, and I understand because for the most part, people are relating to something in creation, and especially, this is where tradition comes in. Yeah, tradition's a big thing here. Oh, we have this knowledge, we have these things, we have these formulas that worked. you know, like kind of like Betty Crocker cake mix that was really good in the 40s and 50s, and is still around today. I don't know how this thing existed, but it does because, you know, deception rules. And that is this white flour, sugar, and some other ingredients. But today it's got a lot more ingredients that are more toxic, but yet it's the good thing. So again, these are old formulas. That is what tradition is. You know, Betty Crocker cake mix with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval, whatever that means. Yeah, in other words, the authorities that deceive everybody have approved it. Okay, have fun with that one. So again, I would say that what we're presenting is very real and wonderful. And all these little things, yes, you'll go through them. We go through certain things, and we're doing the cabbage thing right now, and I think it's great. But it's only one-dimensional, as far as it goes. And this lady also implied living 300 years. You want to live 300 years here? Go right ahead. And doing what? Okay, just drinking cabbage juice for 300 years? And then, gee, what if you live longer? Then you're going to keep drinking cabbage juice? Oh, geez, oh, I'd rather stand real with the all is, but your choice. You see, that's the razor's edge. It's so subtle, that choice and that intent. It's so subtle. That's where your free will comes in. And this is why everybody's doing themselves in, because they don't recognize or they won't face themselves, what they've decided, and how their free will really works and where it applies best. But it's a choice. It's not a put down. I'm not criticizing anything. I'm simply, you know, providing a reference. You know, I'm very sincere and real with what I'm doing. I'm not creating great works, okay, and sacred writings that'll become immortal through history. No, I'm just simply stating it as it is. Everything I create is a reference, but I would say it's about the best reference around to what is real. I'm referring to the guides and the all is, etc., and how to better understand, how to refer to these realities, yeah, that make sense. These individuals make sense with life. But the personal self that we've created runs around, does all these funny things, and then asks questions, and usually gets itself into trouble, always, because you have cause and effect, and then begs to the gods for relief, which they don't care. They don't care about anybody, just like the queen. You can go bang on the door. She don't care. She'll get the guards and put you in jail or get rid of you or eat you. You know, that's a good one, too. You're the dinner here. You're the next dinner. It's very real. So, yes, thank you for asking, Charles. So we get through this. Again, it makes sense to focus on what's provided here. I've created a lot and many options, the homeschool, the university, the vessel projects, the books. You know, you got a lot of reference here. And then go out and create something that makes sense and have fun. And so I asked Kelsey also, as she came into this, and when she described the 3-day juice thing, it only takes 3 days to ferment it, because I had already talked to Chris about fermenting and, you know, got all this information. It's like, okay, cool, let's do it. I mean, he said, let's do it, and we're doing it, all three of us here. And so, yeah, it's a great idea. It's just something to do. And it adds to it. This is what I was trying to get across to the juice lady. You know, this is, you know, we're all here doing something. And as we do something beneficial, this person, that person, whatever, just like in a baseball team or a football team, everybody has their position. Just play your position and contribute. You see, it's a team effort to where all of a sudden we get a better view, we get a better understanding, and all of a sudden, yeah, the real fountain of youth is the all is. And so you want to live 300 years? Well, I don't see that as long enough. And besides, you want to live 300 years on this planet like it is? I don't know. Again, it's choice. I would say that in less time, you could recognize the is and just surpass all the 5 bodies and stand in a real position when the all is a free being of real light. I would say that sounds a lot more fun. But your choice, yes. Go ahead, Charles. Thank you.
It's interesting. Yeah, Duane, what I want to talk about now is concerns the violent weather that has been the winds, the hurricanes, and I don't want to call them whirlwinds, that have been ravaging parts of the United States and the Caribbean, and other places. Now, let me narrate to you a story that happened in my home country. One time, there were these violent winds, and there was a tourist, I think it's an American tourist, and he had a very good camera, an infrared camera, and he decided to take snapshots of the wind. And then when he developed the photos, we could see some men with short axes, knives, and all the like that were in the wind, causing the destruction and all that. Very violent winds, just like those ripping through the United States now. So could it be that these winds blowing out there, they have this kind of short men with short axes and daggers and all the like inside? I've been wondering about this.
Well, what you're seeing is a representation of how it comes out, however it's represented. Just like our real side or so-called dream experiences come out. They come out kind of funny, and that is because the weather basically today, not all of it, but most of it, is engineered. And so you're seeing the dastardly, deceptive tactics of those that are controlling, and especially, the one world order that's doing all this stuff, that controls the world and has put it in its grid and its matrix. They've come out with the latest movie, Geostorm. And that's a good example too. I suggest you go on the internet and see a trailer of it, because again, they're showing everybody what they've already been doing for the longest time. And so now, psychics and whatever, as they're looking at what is taking place with the wind, it's like a wind from your fan. Okay, that's not natural wind, is it? You turn on the fan, it creates wind. And so I would say that if you have the sight, you might say, to see the vibrations of that wind compared to the natural wind, which would be accordingly, you would see the difference. And so what we have now is we have HARP, and these things are triggered, this geoengineering, yes, exactly what it is. How can they predict where these things go? Well, they do, because that's their plan. They engineer these things accordingly. And they have to deal with cause and effect, because they're dealing with the balance of things. And so they're creating, causes that will overall, eventually, this will all implode on itself. Yeah, they can have the control for a while. They will have it for a while. It kind of reminds me of that old cartoon of Mickey Mouse. It's an old one, probably from the 40s, and the Wizard. And so Mickey is like the little janitor in this cartoon series, and this is very well done. And because this is what Walt Disney was into, he's 33-degree Mason, he's Illuminati. He's with the dark side to promote entertainment. That's his whole thing. All the movies are subliminals. And so in this cartoon, and then we can see it, it's on the internet, on YouTube, Mickey is watching the master wizard do what he does, but he has control of it. Well, and then the master, gets kind of tired, so he retires, but he puts his hat down, and Mickey takes on the hat. And all of a sudden he starts doing funny things. Well, then, he makes the broom walk around and carry the pail, because that's what he had to do. He was like the servant boy. He had to carry the pail of water around, the wooden pail, and he had the broom there. He had to sweep up things. He had to wash and scrub the floors. Well, now he's going to magically make it so that he don't have to do it anymore, the broom does. Well, then things get kind of funny, and they start to multiply and get strange and weird, and the broom splits into many other brooms, and pretty soon the room is filled up with water, etc. And eventually the wizard comes back, you know, and rehandles things. This is the idea. So what we have today is we have a bunch of crazy kids, you might say, that have taken the wizard's hat thinking that they know what they're doing when they really do not. You know, they their thing is about control, and as long as they get others to agree, they feel, well, you know, they're at the top of life, you might say. And so, but this is all showing up, and it's all cause and effect, and yeah, most of these things, and you can see it on the internet too. It shows where the harp is, and you see harp clouds. We see them over here. I see them here. We were out surfing last week, and we saw huge harp clouds for 2 days overhead, right over Huntington Beach here, right above us as we were surfing, and expand very fast. And so they're using this all over the world. These are kids. These are people that are very immature. Okay, that you know, they really don't know what they're doing. And that's why you would, certain people are going to pick up on these images that are in the wind that are not seen with the human eye because they're dastardly. So if it comes out to be knives and dark shadows and, you know, whatever it is, it's because it is a violent, you know, action against others. And so it comes down into that imagery, which I find very, very interesting. And so I would say that the average person would, you know, question this or whatever, think, well, what is this? What is going on? But as you really wake up to how creation is working and you see what's going on, yeah, it's not too cool. And, you know, these are your average people that are manning these installations just like the chemtrail pilots. And they're, you know, like criticism of what we've created, all of a sudden they're, you know, out to destroy what they've created, plus everybody that involved. If this makes sense, well, yeah, this is what they're doing, and it doesn't. This is the world we live in, yeah. This is our near-death experience that we're constantly in. And so I'm amazed that, you know, the Skype and everything has lasted this long, because they're going to be doing everything. They've amped things up. You see more storms. The world is on fire. Look at a chart. Someone showed that to me, Ava or whatever. There are fires all over the world, and that's burning up the oxygen. It's destroying the atmosphere. It's not only, and plus all the chemtrails that have been dumped on the forests, that all those chemicals are burning and going into the air. What do you think the end result is going to be? Eventually, in a short time, there's going to be no more breathable air. So this is what I'm trying to get across to people like the Juice Lady and others. It's like, okay, you got your glory here in 300 years. Well, you know, there ain't going to be any businesses around after very long. Next 5 or 10 years, I'm not saying it's so, but the way things are going, the oceans are dead. And it can be sooner than that. They're almost dead now. It's all Fukushima. It's all radiation. It's all fracking. It's all this crap they're doing on purpose. And that's exactly what it is. It is just total nonsense. You know, how much can people take? What do they need to wake up, you know, to something that makes more? You got to take a chance. You got to take the risk to see and do and be something real. You got to take the risk. It is not something that you're going to find in a textbook or the president's going to talk about all of a sudden. You know, it ain't there. It's nowhere on the earth. You have to learn to see it, you know, and decide. And that's where your intent is, because it's all invisible. And what it supports the real side experiences even. It's something invisible that you don't see. Do you see past those experiences? So again, yes, we get messages and prophecy and all these things. All prophecy is it originates from cause and effect. Somebody started something and eventually it becomes a prophecy. They see the outcome and it's like, okay, this is going to appear. They see it because there was some kind of activated cause. You see, that's all prophecy is. It's really, again, do the birds do prophecy? You ever talk to a bird that does prophecy? You know, they do give you a few tweets. They give you some information. So again, yeah, we're in a huge demise of confusion here, and this is where, you know, each person decides to step up and make sense of it or not. because as you do, you add to the benefit. But if you just let it go as it is, then you're agreeing with what's taking place, and then you're part of it. You decide. Yes, thank you for asking, Charles. We're doing the best we can, but the reality is huge resistance and opposition here. And so it's a couple feet at a time trying to get to the goal line like in a football game. So yes, but you're part of it. Thank you for stepping up.